Taylor, what have we gotten done?
Hey, so we're here at the Gritty Homestead working on the shipping container house. I've had probably 7 or 8 real good days to work on it over the last 2 weeks. Looking at the outside, a couple of projects we need to do. It's been a real rainy day today. A little bit of thunderstorms came through, and we've noticed that the water's coming and just running down the sides of the containers. So what we're going to need to do is put some kind of edging, a drip edge all the way around the containers. We don't know if we're going to do gutters yet or just a piece of steel that brings the water out and away from the container so it doesn't fall down and drip down the doors and drip down the windows. Let's go inside and take a look at what we've gotten done. So we've gotten our cabinets set in place where we're going to put them. These are the cabinets we got from the Habitat for Humanity. We've got them all set in place. I had to trim a bunch of them down. A bunch of them we had to cut in half. A lot of piecing and parting together to get them in this layout. I've got a whole lot of trim work that still needs to be done, but this is the basic layout. Islands right here and set. The island's up on wheels right now, just so we can move it around, make it easier to work with. So the wheels will come off and it'll lower down and be a little bit lower. Come on in.
What's going on here?
Oh, we have lights, by the way. Looky there, there was light. So electricity's been run throughout the house. I've got most of the plugs working in the house and most of the lights working in the house. Some of the back rooms I haven't really gotten to yet. But here in the kitchen, got track lighting throughout. These track lights are in here temporarily right now. I'm gonna reset them into a little bit better positions, hide the wires and everything, and add some more tracks in here once we get the cabinets all trimmed up and everything gets set in place. But it is so much nicer to work in a space with overhead lighting rather than using extension cords and work lights. Makes it so much better. Looking around the cabinets here, we've got a large workspace over here for a prep zone. And then this is actually our second sink, a small sink. I haven't put a faucet in yet, but I've got filtered water, hot and cold, coming over here as well. So I'll have a filtered water spigot and then a kitchen faucet right here for a second prep area for a second sink right here.
We did put a garbage disposal in there as well.
It does have a garbage disposal.
We're gonna have a kind of fake out drawer, but the cabinet itself should be relatively functional.
Yeah, so the door will go back on here. I have the door off right now, and then this will be one of those little sponge drawers that comes out, and then the bottom's still usable, but the garbage disposal kind of takes over the top shelf here. Now on this back edge over here, we're trying to utilize this corner as much as possible. So what we're going to probably do is use some shelving right here maybe, or we'll build custom build a cabinet to fit this door right here. We actually found a whole bunch of doors, another Habitat for Humanity, that actually match our current doors. So we were happy with that. That was a good find. I think we paid like $1 a piece for these doors.
Okay, and then right in the corner below you, we're actually going to utilize a Lazy Susan.
Yeah, there'll be a Lazy Susan down in this area down here. I've got a bunch of plumbing. The plumbing from this sink goes down there, and the valves for the water actually are down there. You won't be able to see it.
Nope,
it's too dark.
very dark.
So coming on over here, we had to just custom cut this one cabinet right here. This was one my mother gave us for free out of her kitchen remodel. So it's a different color than all the rest, but I'm going to change out the drawer and the door on it, and I can still use it. I had to cut it out a little bit back here in the back corner because this is where the steel support of the container is. And then we'll cover all this up, and then there'll be a trim piece up here to cover it all up and everything as well. Stove is in place. I still need to get the gas line all hooked up and everything, but we're going to have a nice pot filler for filtered water that's going to come out right there, and for a pot filler for our gas stove, and then I've also got an induction cooktop. All the appliances that are on the countertop, faucets and everything, are raised up in anticipation of the concrete countertops that we will pour here before too long. So,
one thing that's helped a whole lot in this kitchen is the refrigerator working too.
Yes, we do have, the refrigerator is working. That's so nice. We have cold water, snacks, and things of that nature to keep us from having to go back to the main house to get refreshments. So the dishwasher is going to be in place right over here. I'll have to pull it out into place, but it's going to go right here in the corner. We have this big, large corner cabinet, which was one of our favorite cabinets out of all of them. This was actually the way it came, and we tried really hard to find a good place for it so we didn't have to break it apart, because it's just so neat. So it's going to be right here in the corner. Big giant workspace right here. Island is massive. We've been doing some spray painting for our wedding, which is next week. It's only 8 days away. We're getting married next week. So we've been doing a lot of DIY projects for our wedding right here as well. Beautiful sinks in place. Really dirty right now, but sinks in place. We're going to have filtered water coming out. I've got an under sink whole house.
Let's see it.
Filtration system. It's not hooked up right now, but it's sitting in there.
Oh,
Triple filters down there. Soap dispenser, pull out faucet. I don't have it hooked up, but it's in there. Garbage disposal. We're gonna have an over the sink light, which I don't have yet. Moving on, more counter space, more workspace, tons of drawers all over the place, lots of cabinets. This is our backsplash that we got that we are very pleased with. Stainless steel and kind of gray. That's going to go throughout the kitchen. We only paid like $3.20 square feet, $3.24 a square foot for this backsplash, which is gorgeous and a great, fabulous deal compared to what we were looking at Home Depot, which was very comparable, and it was like
13.
Yeah, so I mean it was a whole lot more per square foot. So coming in here, we've got, this is a temporary track light up here just to help us with some lighting. Dining room is going to be right in here. We're going to probably have long track light going across over here, shining down towards the dining room area, and then down towards the center of the living room area over here. No big changes in the front bedrooms. Haven't really worked on them much. They are electrified. I do still need to put some walls up, just the paneling on the walls.
It has very much become a catch-all storage room.
Yes, this is kind of our storage areas up here in these front two bedrooms.
Oh, we missed the pantry too.
Okay. Air conditioning's in right now. That's a great big deal for us. I haven't ducted it out, and I haven't, you know, put the box in for everything yet. This air conditioner came out of a abandoned home that was being torn down, so it's actually a heat pump unit. So I need to get some more Freon. I didn't have quite enough to fill the whole thing up, so it kind of works right now, but I need to put some more coolant in it, and then I also need a new capacitor on the fan outside, which doesn't quite power up all the way without a little bit of help. But that's been a big help. Once I get that going completely, it's going to make it a whole world of difference in here, because it's actually been pretty hot the last couple of days. This front bedroom up here, other than just having lights and plugs, since the last video we did, it's pretty much unchanged. But here's kind of a good example of how the plugs are going to be throughout the house. I've got the C-channel track going along the bottom, and this is where the plugs are going to end up throughout all the rooms. They're going to be baseboard plugs going around, and then I'll have a very nice, pretty decorative baseboard that'll butt up against that and hide all the wiring and everything. So if I ever do need to change out any wires or add any wires or plumbing or anything like that, all I've got to do is take that base plate off, and then I've got a nice track to go all the way around the whole house.
And here are all those extra doors we got at the Habitat.
Yeah, these are just a couple dollars a piece.
Oh, and this plug right here, this has actually been really helpful because we have the saw right out here. We're really cutting down on extension cord use because we're able to plug in a lot more stuff right around where we're using it.
Yeah, we hate fighting with plugs. We ran the copper. So there's a lot of things we've done over the last few days that you can't see, but it's been a whole lot of work. So we've actually run copper and the electrical and everything to the air conditioner. It's running all the way underneath the house with the outside compressors outside, back behind the kitchen over there. So it's hidden from the driveway, and it's hidden from anywhere you'd be, you know, normally coming up to the house. For our cabinets, these are the only two cabinets we have left out of all that big set. We were able to utilize almost the entire set, so we're actually going to probably put these in our bathrooms, you know, for above the toilet or something like that. Beautiful windows. I don't know if we were able to see those in the daylight in the last video, but these are our gorgeous windows that I paid $25 a piece for.
Can you open them up for us?
I absolutely will open them up for you. So they just pop open with a latch, and then they have a little lever, and then the entire window swings out. And so they both do that to our beautiful backyard, which is kind of dirty right now, but we'll get it all cleaned up. We'll have a nice backyard, maybe a deck back here at some point, looking off down into the woods. The creek's down there. Deer walk by all the time. All the wildlife's out there. It's just fabulous.
Great U factor. They're 29, correct?
0.29.
0.29, sorry.
0.29 U factor, you know, low E glass. I mean, they were brand new. I don't know if the factory just donates them, if they have an imperfection on them or anything, but I can't find anything wrong with them.
And what did we pay for those?
$25 a piece. They were actually 75% off at the Habitat for Humanity Restore, so they were normally $100, and they were just having a sale that day, so I snatched them up. I wish they had more. I would have bought more of them. Our big double doors are over here. These both open up wide, but we'll go through those here in a minute. If we look back here in this back bedroom, this is going to be a back bedroom. There'll be a wall that goes right here but we just did a test run on our sanding of the floor. I did one pass over this with 100 grit sandpaper on my big drum sander.
Give me a little bit more light, please, Ben.
And then we don't have any lights back here yet. So went over this with 100 grit sandpaper, one pass, and then this is just a semi-gloss polyurethane that's on it right now. So we decided we don't know if we really like that wood look like that as much. We may go with some stain and try a different patch on the other side. And this is just kind of our test area back here.
And as you can see, the back of the house is much less developed than the front of the house. So we still need to get the ceiling and the walls up in this back area.
I really hate doing ceiling.
He hates ceiling, hates ceiling.
So still need to do some insulation around the edge of the door here, insulation around that back window over there. But we've been just doing a lot of electrical work back here, and I haven't gotten to these back bedrooms because they're not as important. We're trying to get the front of the house done so that our move-out date's here in about 2 months from our apartment. Our lease is up, so we need to at least get a livable space to move to, even if we don't get it completely done. So let's go to the bathroom and take a look around. So a lot of work's been done here in the bathroom. Lights are in. I'm going to have a longer track light. This is just a little piece that we've got just to give us a little overhead light. But so there'll be more light in here, and of course a different fixture in the toilet room. But we have working sink in the vanity right now. So this is an undermount sink that'll have the concrete countertops on it as well. We're actually going to extend this out and all the way to the wall with the concrete countertop, and I'm going to make Sarah a little like makeup get ready station right here with the mirror, and she can slide a chair up underneath here. We've put wired the vanity. I've got plug in the drawer of the vanity so that Sarah can put her hair dryer and straightener and all that stuff in here, and we can get it off the counter, which is one of my big pet peeves. I really hate those things on the counter. I'll line this with some kind of aluminum or something so that it doesn't ever get any kind of fire hazard. And then also I was going to probably put the plug on a timer so that when Sarah's doing her hair, she has to turn the timer on, and then it'll be like a 30-minute timer or an hour timer, so that way that when she's done and she's forgotten to turn her straightener off,
I don't burn the house down.
It'll turn the whole thing off itself. The vanity I've also modified somewhat with a toe drawer. So it's got the toe drawer in the bottom.
The kitchen is completely equipped with those as well.
Yes, we'll go back through and I'll show you those in the kitchen as well. I've got a second switch here. We're going to have a heated mirror right here so the mirror doesn't fog up whenever it's being used. And then washer and dryer are going to be right here. I've run water, hot and cold over here. I've got my electrical for the washer dryer, and then an ironing station that's going to be over here as well. Toilet room right over here. Shower is functioning. We have, now when I say functioning, we have cold water only right now. I have ordered our propane tankless water heater. It just hasn't come in yet, but we at least have some cold water. And then
and we'll put the back, so we bought enough backsplash that the goal is to do backsplash up above the shower that matches the kitchen as well.
So this is the door that's going to go on the toilet room right here. It's going to go in right here. And then
let me go in the toilet room.
We'll come on in the toilet.
Okay, so we've got this fan. It was done in one of the videos previously, but we forgot to mention it. So it's a good size. This is kind of the brain of the plumbing in the home. So we've got some plugs.
Oh yes, I'll go over this as well. So the plumbing I've got coming into the house here, I've got two pipes coming in. I've got one that is from the well pump, and then I've got one that is from the storage tanks that are going to be up in the woods. I do not have the storage tanks installed yet, but I did go ahead and run the pipe to it. So any way that we do this, I'll have water at all times. If the electricity goes out, if the grid power goes down, I'll have water from the storage tanks, which are up on the hill in the woods. And so we'll have at least a few PSI of pressure coming from just gravity, so we can at least run, it won't run the shower, but I imagine it should run the bathroom and kitchen sink with at least a dribble of water. But to combat that, I've added in a pump down here. This is going to be a 12-volt pump that's going to run off our solar, that's going to be up on the roof or the barn, wherever I put it. And this is a 75 PSI, 5 gallons per minute pump. So we'll always have water pressure to be able to take a shower. It'll run it through the water heater. So we should at all times have water, you know, as long as it's not an EMP or something. One of the things I've been having trouble with was trying to decide how I'm going to vent the dryer. Right now I'm running it for electrical for temporary because we already have the electric washer and dryer, but I'm also going to run propane in here for a propane dryer because we'd like to go to that eventually and use as little electricity as possible, and just gas is easier. So to vent it out, I've built The containers are sitting on the gravel too close for me to be able to vent it out underneath the containers. It's enough where I can run copper and different things underneath, but it's only a space about that much. So to vent it out, I'm going to run the vent back through this box that I've got back here, and then I'll put a plate on the top of it, and then just vent it out the side of the container. So that's pretty much it for the bathroom that we've gotten done right now. But getting the running water, that's been where a lot of my time has gone. Just running the plumbing, getting the drains done, running the PEX and the things throughout the house, and then just getting ready for the water heater to come in as well.
I know something we've done recently. So the containers, they were butted up against each other, but they always had a little bit of a gap.
Oh, so yeah.
So we've had this little mouse. We've been calling him Edgar.
Yeah, Edgar the mouse has been coming in. So there was a little gap that the mouse, we don't know if it's one or more, but has been coming through like this, but it was a little bit thicker. So I just put some rebar in there to fill in the gap, and then started welding it, and I just ran out of welding rods, so that I didn't get all the way done here. Septic is another thing I've done. I spent probably 2 days working on the septic system. So I've custom made my own septic system based off of some research I've done and a couple other videos on YouTube that I've seen for above ground aerobic septic system. And that's aerobic, which means with air. So let's show you outside what we've done with that. Don't mind our mess outside, it's a work in progress. So outside compressor unit and everything's out here. I've got it flipped upside down because I'm going to change the fan motor. But septic all runs down right underneath here.
So here we go. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Let's see the valves and things like that. So tell me a little bit about what's going on here.
So we've got valves coming in here. Well pumps off down the road a little way. So well pump comes in. I can shut off, and this is the barn, which is down over there, and then this is our house. So I can isolate, the barn, I can isolate the house, or I can isolate both at any time. Here's a valve right here and a junction box that feeds our septic. We're calling it the hangar. We've got you'll see it when we get over there, but our storage building for our septic tanks. So I've got water and electricity going down to it. I haven't wired it up yet. And then over here, I've got two pipes coming out. One pipe, Schedule 40, coming out for the water storage tanks that are going to be up on the hill over here in the woods, and then one pipe coming out that's going to be for our generator, our standby generator, which is going to be off in the woods too. I'll build an enclosure for both of those.
Did you talk about the emergency power off over there?
It's just a disconnect for the air conditioner. It's standard practice to put one of those on any air conditioner. Okay, so let's walk on down to the hangar, the septic storage area.
And it is a work in progress, so no judgment here.
So this is the septic or the pipe that's coming up for the second bathroom that we haven't started on yet. So it's an exposed pipe right now for to be added on.
Why don't you tell them what we found for our bathroom?
The bathtubs?
Oh yes.
So we found two beautiful clawfoot bathtubs at a place where I've been getting a lot of my stuff. There's a gentleman who buys a lot of stuff from auctions. One of the ways we've been saving a lot of money is on Home Depot. When you return something to Home Depot, if they can't put it back on their shelf, they auction it off by the pallet or the truckload. And there's several people throughout where we live in the big city where we work that buy those truckloads of things and then just liquidates it for profit. And so a gentleman that we buy a lot of things from, he had two bathtubs that were just back in the corner with a bunch of stuff stacked on them, and we said, hey, let's dig them out and take a look at them. And he said $100 for both of them, and said, heck yeah, let's load them up. And so we got them home, and we did a little bit of research on them, and they're both over $1,000 a piece, brand new. And mind you, both these bathtubs still had the plastic on them, so they were like a special order that somebody returned and didn't use. And then this gentleman bought them for next to nothing on a pallet, and then he's passed the savings on to us. So absolutely gorgeous high-end fixtures, lighting, things of that nature. We're getting them from these places, and we're saving, up to 90% off of retail cost on our materials, and that's one of the ways we're saving a lot of money with our build.
Well, and Taylor, when he and I first started, we kind of decided a look that we were going for and had a conversation about, hey, we kind of like this style. If we can find something close at a discounted price, then we're not sold 100% on, having to have a particular thing.
Yeah, and that's another way to save money is don't get your heart set on an exact item. Get your heart set on a style. So you can always find something close you can mix and match with, but you might not find the exact item you want. But if you do enough research and you're patient, you can find things at a great discount on Craigslist, throughout retailers, you know, in the major cities.
You didn't even talk about your Vent-A-Hood.
So we'll have to do it on another video. But let's keep going down here to the septic. But I guess I can talk about it. Your Vent-A-Hood, or the Vent-A-Hood that you saw that was in the kitchen, fully functioning actual Vent-A-Hood brand, 48 inches wide, lights. It's got 4 fans on it. We paid $20 for that on Craigslist.
It was just a guy who bought a house and it was taking up space, and he said, I don't even know exactly 100% what it is. I just want it gone. So it was incredible.
Yeah, so that's where I find a lot of things too, is on Craigslist and just shopping around and being patient with things.
Okay, so what are we seeing?
So this is the septic coming down from the house. House is up on the hill. This is down lower on the hill. The 4-inch PVC that we've got running, to keep the slope at a quarter bubble or more, I've had to raise it up a little bit. So it is raised up some, coming down through the woods. Drains very nicely the way it is. I've got it set up with T-posts temporarily. I will eventually bring in dirt and fill this up some. And then whatever pipe is exposed, I'm going to either paint it green so that it blends in with the woods and absorbs heat and keeps from freezing in the winter, or I'm just going to insulate it really well with some insulation of some kind. Eventually, I'm gonna have to put some kind of fence here or something, because the cows are gonna probably end up messing this up. But this is a good temporary solution for what we've got going on. Let's go down here to our septic storage.
It became a running joke while we were doing it, because it is very much off the ground, and so it was like, are we sure? Are you sure this is going down?
Yeah, so it looks like it's actually going uphill, but this is actually a quarter bubble or more going downhill. This whole thing, just based on the way the ground is, it makes it look like it's going uphill. So this is our septic storage tank area,
AKA the hangar.
The hangar. So this was a giant, it was a 6 foot tall by like 16 foot wide fish tank is what it was. A guy was raising tilapia on a farm, you know, not too far from here, and this tank was just getting old, and he sold it to me for $200. And I said, oh well, I'll buy it for $200. I don't know what I'm going to do with it at the time. So it's been sitting out here on the land for a couple of months, and I was getting thinking I can make a good shelter out of that. So what I did is I cut the tank's round, so I cut it in half down the middle and just raised the halves up together, and it made this very nice structure for us to store things in.
And the Great Stuff, yet again, has been great stuff.
Yeah, so I've sealed all the edges with the Great Stuff foam. Built up dirt around it so that the wind doesn't catch it and blow it away or anything like that. Cut a hole in the bottom of the tank right here for a doorway. So come on into, this is our septic storage area.
It's gonna be a little bit dark, so bear with.
Yeah, and it's a work in progress. So we have six 300-gallon IBC totes, or they're 275-gallon IBC totes, and they're all hooked together in a series. The septic comes, so come in here, sir. The septic runs in through the wall over here and drains down into the first IBC tote. So what's going to happen here is I've got an aeration pump. The entire system, each one of these tanks is going to be individually aerated with drip irrigation hose, which works very well for the aeration, by the way, I've discovered. And so the aeration process breaks up the solids, the waste materials, and everything like that just by the bubbling action. And then by injecting air into the septic tank system, it makes an aerobic septic system, which studies have shown that it has a whole lot better breakdown and cleanliness based off of the standard. What most people have is a anaerobic septic system, which means the water's just stagnant and there's no air injected in the system. So this system, with it bubbling, the bacterial action from the aerobic bacteria breaks down the solids and the waste a whole lot quicker and a whole lot more efficiently. So the waste is going to come from the first tank to tank number 2, to tank number 3, to tank number 4, to tank number 5 in the corner, and then finally into the last tank, tank number 6. Being bubbled the entire time. And then what I'm going to do is put some either like a plastic fencing material or some kind of medium into the tanks so that the bacteria have something to cling to and stick to, because the bacteria like to stick to things. You know, when you have like a cup or something that you leave in like a bucket of water outside for a long time, you pick it back up and it's slimy. That's the bacteria that have attached themselves to that plastic, and that's what is breaking down your septic system in an aerobic system. And so you have to put some kind of medium in there for the bacteria to cling to, or all they have is just the sides of the tank, and it's not as effective.
Where'd you get these tanks?
Oh, these tanks I actually found from a guy on Craigslist. These are normally, and these are actually food grade tanks too. I bought a bunch of them because I'm going to do my water storage in these IBC tanks. These had fruit juice concentrate in them. The guy that I bought them from, it was a big industrial complex, and he had hundreds of them. And he sold them to me for $35 a piece. And these are normally around $100 to $150 a piece. And I went down there with a trailer and just picked up a whole load of them. And you know, just another way we saved a little bit of money on Craigslist is just searching around and finding things. And there's, you know, local places. If you just look around in your area, you can find what you need. So in this number 6 tank, this last tank, what we're going to do is, by the time the water gets to this tank, it's clear. It's no, I mean, in theory, what it should be clear. And I wouldn't call it drinkable. However, it would be very reasonable to water vegetables with it, or you know, use it for our garden. So what I'm going to do for this last tank is I'm going to have a sprinkler pump to pump it out to our garden area, which is going to be out over here in one of our caged off areas. Or if the whole electricity system goes down, this septic system will still work as an anaerobic system because it's all gravity fed, and it's all been sloped to where it all will drain down to this last tank, and then it will just drain. I've got a drain field out here, and so everything I can I had the option of either recycling my water into using it for irrigation, or just pumping it back into the drain field outside. So this is one of our other projects that's been taking up a lot of my time, but I've really enjoyed doing it, and I hope it all works out very well. As far as for the pipes, another thing that I've discovered is called uniseals, which is a way to keep these pipes put in together into a tank like this. Rather than buying a bulkhead fitting, which are extremely expensive, this is a uniseal device right here, which basically is slightly smaller than the pipe. So you use a hole saw to cut the hole, and then you put soap on it, and then you shove the pipe into it. And the pipe being a little bit bigger than this hole, it makes it spread out and makes a watertight seal into the sides of the tank. So I had ordered some of these. They were about $10 a piece on eBay. I bought them, and then like 3 days later, I was at Home Depot looking through their discount rack, and they had these on discount for $1 a piece. So I bought every one of them they had. Okay. I've got water and electricity that are going to run out to here as well, so that we can. I'm going to put a sink in here for washing hands if we're out here messing with something, and I just want to wash my hands real quick because we've been messing with septic tanks, and then also have a hose out here to water, you know, anything that might happen to be out here. So that's basically what we've gotten done for the last couple of days. Do you have anything to add, Sarah? Is there anything I've missed?
The next time you see us, we'll be married.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. We probably won't have a chance to come back out because we're getting married next week. So we'll spend our honeymoon. We're probably planning on taking a road trip in the ambulance camper, which actually I had a wreck last week, so we may not be able to take that. It did a little bit of damage to it.
And we actually don't have a video of the ambulance yet, but eventually, once we get things a little bit more settled down with the house, we will do an actual tour of our converted ambulance camper.
Ambulance camper, yep. So if we don't get to take a trip for our honeymoon just quite immediately, I've actually got 2 weeks off from work. We'll come back out here and do some more work and have another video for you.
All right, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for watching.